Hi, it's Carl here. Just thought I'd do a quick tour around my garden. It's sort of mid-May, so everything's looking pretty good. So here we go. So Japanese Acer, recent acquisition there, looking fantastic. Loads of new growth actually on top, which is lovely. And we've got Shana in the background there. Really sort of nice semi-dwarf, it is a dwarf specimen. Lovely deep red leaves, which I enjoy. That's my Shishigashira. As you can see again, you've got lots of new growth appearing there, which is lovely. It's sort of a lighter green. And then moving on to Atropoporium. Good old reliable Atropoporium, why not? And this lovely Acer called Red Wine, which I really enjoy. Just fantastic leaves actually. It's quite an unusual habit because it sort of grows in sort of clumps on the branches, but wow, that's doing really well this year. And actually, height-wise, I was sold this would be a dwarf, and well, I don't think it is really, but never mind. We'll certainly manage that okay. Just moving over here. I've now established this border a bit better for sort of maples and stuff. So there's my sort of bamboo I did a video recently of, and these are peonies which have, you know, they're crazy. They stay underground all winter, they die back to nothing, and then suddenly they erupt into this sort of mountain of foliage, and you can just about see the buds starting to appear there. So that'll be lovely later on in the year. It's definitely azalea season now, so they're coming on lovely. Okushimo. Again, some of these are really hard to find, but you kind of don't know why they're not in fashion, because it's a lovely shape. And these tiny little leaves that sort of curl up are just really nice. More azaleas for that splash of colour is always good. And then you've got Dissector filigree here, which is a nice sort of Siriu sort of type tree that doesn't seem to mind full sun, which is great. And we're on to Crypsey. Again, it's a little sort of leaves piled on leaves. It's a bit like a Shishigashira in a way, but it's definitely different, which is nice. Firecracker is coming on lovely there. And then we've got one of my sort of favourites. I have favourites that come and go, if you like, each year, but this Ryusen has really come on this year. And you say, even though it's high grafted, it's really sort of falling down, weeping and cascading, which looks lovely really. And if I can get one or two more weepers, I think I probably will. Good old Jerry Swartz in the corner there, just looking lovely. So deep pinks and holds onto the colour really well throughout the year. The Katsura, that's grown loads actually. Very bushy sort of tree, but hasn't changed that much so far this season or last season. So might consider potting that on. Again, supermarket purchase 2-3 years ago, just fantastic. By here, one of the last to leaf out here actually, but now sort of coming on strong. So the sort of yellowish kind of bark there, which is typical. In Abishadara, I'm not sure what's going on here. I think it's okay, looks okay, but it was actually right next to the Baihu and hasn't leafed out yet, so I just moved it into a bit more sun. I'm just about to see 1 or 2 leaves appearing, so I'm hopeful that will catch up. Going green, just does what it says on the tin really. So that's looking really nice and lush in the morning sun. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning at the moment, so that's why the plants over the one side were sort of well lit, and these are obviously a bit more shade we're coming to. Red flamingo. Boniatake, new acquisition, but that's obviously taken off really well, which is great. Just whizzing through a few more. Hub's red willow. So really like these sort of more interesting, different, should we say, maples. That's a really sort of almost like a bamboo type red leaf really. A little pink passion in the corner underneath there, trying to protect that. A Sakazuki, very vigorous grower. That's come on leaps and bounds, and it takes a lot of space up, so good to bear in mind with these things. when you purchase, but I like that in a way because it uses up a lot of sort of ground space. And then behind it you've got Jordan, which is the opposite. It's a sort of upturned vase type shape, and that's really good with a bit of height and fills a corner. I won't go through every one in detail, but Amiga Shidara, I think it's called. Again, recent purchase. Just looks fantastic. Look at those leaves, fantastic. And it seems to be taking off. It's strange. Sometimes you pot things, they don't do very much, and sometimes they just seem to love it and go with it. So why not, really? Over the back there, you've got Acer Dissectum, just a sort of plain old dissected Weeping Acer, but looks fantastic. And the fall colours last year were excellent. Onto Butterfly, which did really well last year and is continuing to do so, really. Again though, Butterfly likes a lot of shade, and that's the key, really. This fella down here, the Contifolium, very strange, did very little last year, sort of sat there, probably growing a great root system or something, but this year has really taken off. And then nice little variants there. That's Acer Gricium. So that's again another straight up grower, Wendy. And this is another one that I bought. If you watch my videos from plants I purchased from Dorset last year, that didn't do very much at all. This year, boom, it just seems to have taken off. It's surprising how fast these grow, actually, because some of these the sort of leaves are touching each other, and I didn't do that. It's literally one has grown towards the other, if you know what I mean. So how extraordinary. Moving on to one or two others. That's a new little feature. I've got a little fountain, put that in earlier on in the year, and that runs on solar. So I do like using solar energy. That's working very well. Orange Dream, again another one that grows very vigorously but does like a good deal of shade, really. And actually, if it's in afternoon shade, or shade generally, that's why it then lives up to its name and produces these sort of rather nice orangey tinged leaves, really. Mine and Asato doing well. These I'll do a little video actually of their seedlings. So occasionally in the comments people say that you know, I've got something against seedlings. Well, I haven't, particularly when they're free like these were, because someone very kindly gave me them. So we'll have a little go with those and plant them out. But they're Acer palmatum palmatum. So there's a little video in the making, perhaps. Trompenberg with its unusual sort of curled leaves there. Obviously a really firm favourite, Ukagumo in the background. Lovely white foliage. Does like a lot of shade, and I probably need to get something perhaps red behind it to make it stand out more against the bamboo, so we'll have a work on that. Absolute showstopper, this one, Moonrise. It really has, under this sort of shady condition, developed these lovely sort of pinky, orangey, big broad leaves, which I think look fantastic, and it really sort of adds some contrast, which is lovely. Aratama, another one recently purchased from Dorset, sort of the end of last year, but yeah, doing really well. You can see that's it's taken well to its new environment, really. A little bit of sort of dieback at the ends there, so I'll trim that off. But overall, excellent. That's my daughter's Shishikashira, because we love those, and we bought a couple. And then Benishi Henji as well, doing well there. And a sort of a red one at the back called Sharon, which is the name of my wife, so why not? So technically that's hers, of course. So I hope that helps. I'll give you a quick pan of the garden. In fact, we'll go wide at this point, give you an idea. That's my sort of canopy that I built a few years ago now. So that's the kind of layout we have. Nice moody clouds there, which is always good. And then just moving on really to centre now. So these are ones I've learned that are all really sort of heat tolerant. I don't like the term heat tolerant in a way, because what people deem heat tolerant is a combination between sort of sun tolerant, heat tolerant and wind tolerant, really. So these sort of don't mind being out in midday sun though. So Twombly's Red Sentinel doing really well this year. Love the way it sort of grows pretty vertically. And I think if you keep it in an exposed position, it will grow straight up. If you put it in a corner somewhere, it will grow towards the light. So it's quite good to expose it quite well to light, really. We've got one or two hostas here at the bottom. Great little companion plant to Acers, really. And one of my favourites, Cotonuito, the heartstring maple. Again, something really different, to be honest with you. And really, really very attractive. They don't grow to huge sizes either, so there's probably room for those in a lot of gardens. Little new acquisition here, Taylor. Beautiful, beautiful pinks. Just fantastic, really. One of my absolute favourites down here, which is Little Princess, which again has beautiful leaves. It's almost like a bonsai in its own right. It's sort of do-it-yourself, really, or it does it itself. But beautiful little tree. Surely everyone's got room for one of those. They're just lovely. This one was sold as An Irene, but I think it's actually reverting back to summer gold, because the leaves at the bottom are definitely different to the leaves at the top. But that's okay, because summer gold's really heat tolerant, so we don't mind that really. So that one's doing very well. We've got Crimson Queen here, which I've got behind, you know, a little bit of something, because it doesn't like full sun all day. But just, again, it's amazing how that has just taken off this year. Probably my fault for overpotting in some instances. I think they're more interested in building roots than they are in building leaves, but this year that's really, really sort of coming to its own. If you want size in your garden, Siriu, absolutely splendid tree. It's one of the few, or the only dissected one I've ever seen that's an upright. So that will put on some major growth, which is fantastic. Atropoporium, so another big specimen there. And if we just wander around, we've then got Bloodgood. In fact, we've got two of them. So this is a sort of classic red leaf maple that grows really well. Great cultivar. And then finally behind, we've got Sangukaku. So absolutely magnificent tree, really strong pink bark that gets even pinker in the winter, and these leaves will be a lovely green, lush colour and change to a golden colour in the sun later on in the year. So certainly a sort of tree for all seasons, really. And there we go. So just a little bit of an update on my collection. I have got an orange dream down the side, and I have got a garnet at the front, so I think I totted it up the other day. I've got about 50 of these things, but I do enjoy them, and if they start to outgrow me a little bit, I've got two daughters with houses now, so they can certainly inherit those. That's lovely. But all in all, I'm still having fun rearranging stuff. But again, I think on this set fence over here, actually improving the sort of stopping the wind blowing through from the north and using that more, because really morning sun and afternoon shade is what Acers love. So that's kind of released that up a little bit for me. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you like and subscribe and tick the bell button or whatever it is to follow if you want to. And we'll carry on the adventure, really. So take care, and if you've got any questions, do drop them in the comments below. Cheers.